Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another preview show. We're going to go through Shamrock Rovers. We're going to review that as well against the Ludogorets from last night. Preview the European games and preview the league games upcoming. Lucas here. He's been fairly constant lately, and Keano's back. Just to say, Keano, I get messages from people saying, have you and Keano fallen out? No, we haven't fallen out. It's just the way it works in terms of times and since COVID has everything's returned back to normal. Yeah. Times are suiting different people and that kind of stuff. And
that's it, exactly, yeah.
So there you go. Right, we'll get into Shamrock Rovers in Ludogorets. Obviously finished 3-0 to Ludogorets. And I suppose in the first half, Rovers, you know, they went 2-0 down at half time. It could have been 4 or 5, to be honest. But like Ludogorets were absolutely brilliant, I thought, in that first half. We can say Shamrock Rovers are poor or whatever, but they were absolutely top class. Second half, I think Rovers were much better. And they'll be kicking themselves to concede that third goal late on, which kind of 2-0, I think, gave them hope, if you know what I mean. It would have been difficult anyway. 3-0, I hate to say it, almost kills the tie, Keano.
Yeah, look, I was watching the game. And it's great, first of all, that it was on the telly for people to watch. They'd be disappointed. I think they went there with a game plan. And it definitely didn't work, let's put it that way. And especially in the first half, they got the run around. You're third and a half time, getting in at 2-0, they kind of done all that. You probably would have taken that the way the first half went. Then you fear from the second half because it was relentless. Like, they were just chasing. I know Rory Gaffney doing well up top, holding the ball up, and but you need more than that. I think they missed a playmaker in there at top or something. But look, it's easy to say that now. Like, I don't think we can really question Shamrock Rovers' decisions at all. But I just feared for them after the first half. I thought it could have been a decent scoreline and it would have been well over. And we were wrong. Like, whatever. Look, it just shows you. Steve Bradley went in, whatever they done, him and the coaching staff, changed the tactics completely at half time, changed things around. And, they were maybe bitterly disappointed, obviously, with the goal at the end. But, like, they bossed the second half, in my opinion. They really came out and looked whether it was a little bit of them taking the foot off the pedal a little bit and Rob was going at it. But I have to say, I thought it was really good performance second half. And they were disappointed to just not get a goal, let's say, and even 2-0, you get a goal and talent and it's back, you're back in it. 3 is a little bit of a mountain, but I don't know. That was the sucker punch right at the end, but that's the difference in Europe, Rovers had a couple of chances, didn't take them. Ludogorets had 1 chance in the second half and he scored, and that's the levels.
Yeah, Luke, I mean, to be fair, Ludogorets have won 11 titles in a row. I don't think they're really a reflection of Bulgarian league football as such. Like, they're way ahead of everybody else in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
So there's a massive gap there. I mean, I think someone mentioned, Carly might mentioned, I can't remember, they 14 games in Europe last year. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, so first half, like, as I said, the Keano there, you'd see the quality they had on the ball, the pace. It looked like the pace all over the team, even at the centre of midfield. And that's something Rovers lacked with some of the players.
Yeah.
Burke came on, obviously, second half did make a difference as well. But do you think that third goal, do you see any way back for them, to be honest? Or is it just a case of let's try and win the match? Obviously, that's the way you have to play anyway.
Yeah, of course. No, it's a very difficult one because you look at the game and Ludogorets are a good side. Like, let's not take anything away from them, you know what I mean? But I think Rovers are going to be disappointed. Just in the fact that, like, they Gaffney so isolated up top, and he was not getting really any luck early on. He got a bit of luck, when he got by your man, and then I think your man dives in. Look, maybe if he was a little bit cuter, I don't usually say for lads to go down the box, but I think if Gaffney might have been a bit cuter, I think he could have got a penalty because your man lunged in behind. Like, I was like, what is that defender doing? You know what I mean? There was no need for it, but in the end, overall in the game, I think Ludogorets were very good. You know what I mean? As you said, they've got pace everywhere, like literally everywhere. And they just, any sort of pressure Rovers put on them, they dealt with, and they were just happy enough with, to let even Rovers in the second half come on to them, and they were too comfortable for them, I think. And you look at Rovers midfield, it's like I think they were just missing that game changer. You know, the likes of Mandrew, who was obviously gone, and Jack Byrne was on the bench, and Burke was on the bench. So you look at Watts and O'Neill and McCann in the midfield, and there's not really a game changer there. You know what I mean? And that sort of game, you probably needed a game changer. You needed someone who's going to just take that one chance you get. And Rovers didn't take the chances they got, and in the end, Ludogorets were very, very comfortable. And I know if they lose, which most likely will now, they face the loser of Dynamo Zagreb and that crowd, Skopje or something. They actually drew 2-2 as well, Dynamo Zagreb at home. So they could be facing Dynamo Zagreb in the Europa League, you know what I mean? So it doesn't get easier. But look, they'll just be going to Tallinn now on next Tuesday and, you know, give a good account of themselves. And, you know, you never really know. It's football at the end of the day. Anything can happen, but I think it's highly unlikely that they'll get through.
Yeah, so on Thursday in the Conference League, Sligo Rovers go to Motherwell. And it's funny because I think some of these teams in Scotland, League of Ireland teams, can give them a right go. My issue here is Sligo. They haven't been playing well lately at all. They were very lucky to get through Ballatown, Keno, or Ballatown even, and then were beaten comfortably home to UCD. It's hard to have much hope for them here over the two legs. But obviously, we'll talk about the first leg in Motherwell. They've Ross Tierney, we know that as well. So how do you see this one?
I think it's hard to call any of these toys, to be honest, with any of the teams. Look, I think if you were to go back 2 years during COVID on a one-off game, you'd probably fancy Sligo to win this, or you'd fancy them more to win it, than to lose it. But, you know, you'd give them a little bit more of a chance. But I think over the course of two legs here, I think Motherwell might just be too strong for them. First leg, Motherwell will want the tie to be over and done with. You know, they want to get in there 3-0 or whatever like that, and go back and you can relax a little bit into the next round. But you know, if Sligo go there, just keep the tie alive. That's all you have to do, is just keep it alive. There's no away goals, which is probably a letdown to League of Ireland clubs, I think, more than anything, because, you know, we wouldn't be the strongest in terms of Europe, and the opposition we come up against. So an away goal is always vital. But on the positive side of it is, if you concede a goal, it doesn't, you know what I mean, it doesn't dramatically change the tie. So I think it'll be a tough night for them. It does help that Sligo are in mid-season, and, you know, we've seen them results over recent years. It definitely helps, but over the course of two games, I think they might just be a little bit short. I'm gonna go 2-0 Motherwell. I think, you know, and I think that'll be respectable, to be honest with you. And I think, you know, I don't think the tie could be over then. You just don't know. But if they can just keep it within a goal or two, keep the tie alive, get it back to the showgrounds, anything can happen. And they've not been the best of form lately. They've not been playing too well. Obviously, you don't know whether McGinty is staying or leaving, and, you know, that's a massive one for them. I don't know. I said 2-0, so I'm gonna have to stick with that now.
Yeah, look, I mean, like, I would have given them a better chance. It's just, as I said to Keno before there, their forms was so poor. I mean, very poor result at home to UCD. They got through, but it was a poor result in the 90 and extra time against Ballatown, and performance. Ballatown should have won easily.
Yeah.
So they'll be hoping, obviously, they need to find form somewhere. If they're coming into a bit of form, I'd give them a little shout, because Irish teams generally do well against these Scottish teams in Europe, to be fair. The Ed McGinty situation as well. He will be going to Oxford, but will he be playing in this game? And, like, if he does, will he play in the next leg? And look, he's been their saviour, hasn't he, to be honest, for most of the season. He's their best player.
He's the best player by a country mile, to be honest. So good this season, and he's deserved of that move to Oxford. You know what I mean? Even when he played against Drogheda in United Park, any ball that was coming into the box, he's coming out and he's claiming. You know what I mean? It's just, you didn't really get a chance with him. Like, he's just a serious goalkeeper, and, you know, if he does take that move across, you'd probably expect him to be number one over there, because he's good enough. Like, do you know what I mean? And the disappointing thing about them, especially Sligo playing against UCD, they didn't really rest anyone. Like, the only really player they rest was McGinty, and I think there was one other player, but they really went for it against UCD, and they were bet. You know what I mean? They were bet. Like, you know, it's really disappointing for them, and they obviously lost to Ballatown as well. I know they lost the game, but they won on penalties or whatever. But it's just for them. They're going to be really disappointed with the way they've been playing the last few weeks. And look, if they win here against Motherwell, I think that's going to give them real confidence, even in the league. But I don't see it happening. I think that I really think Motherwell are going to win this game. I actually think they might be comfortable for Motherwell, and I like to give the Irish teams a chance, but with the way Sligo Rovers have been playing the last few weeks, it's just, you don't really fancy them at all.
I'd actually go 1-0 Motherwell, because I just have a feeling that Sligo will just completely sit in this game and look to get out of there with some form of
it. Keep it alive. That's all they have to do.
Exactly. That's what I do, to be honest. Or try to do that, and hopefully they can do that. You never know.
Who's a home first leg?
Sorry?
Home first leg.
Motherwell are home, so it's in Fair Park. That's their stadium, isn't it? Yeah. So
that's them.
Hopefully they'll get something, but it's going to be tight. Now, this might be a bit more unknown, but St. Patrick's Day take on Mora at Richmond Park, and Mora were a team that got into the Europa League last year and they beat Spurs in a one-off game. This year, though, they seem to have lost some of their better players, and obviously they got through against that Belarusian team that I'm not going to pronounce 2-1 into the two legs. So it was 4-2 overall. I'm not even attempting that. If anyone wants to, they can. But it's a bit, it's a journey into the unknown for Pats. Richmond Park, obviously, they're home in the first leg. You do feel like they probably have to win the game if they have a genuine chance of going through, though.
Yeah, look, to be honest, I've seen them play now the last 3 games. I've seen them play Svindale twice in the games, and I was watching it. Look, I already had my flights booked, so I think I was kind of hoping they won anyway. But that's Svindale is, they're like I don't they weren't great. They were bang average, and I think it can be tough to play against a side that's really bad, you know what I mean? And it's tough to set the tempo and play, so you can give them that little bit of credit as well that they get out of the toy. But they didn't overall surprise me. Now I did watch the last 3 games. That's the joys of,
They did lose their first league game against Liverpool.
2-0. I watched that, and I've been watching. I watched the 2 qualifiers and the 1 league game, and they didn't really surprise me. Sometimes you watch teams in recent years. We went and we played North Shopping from Sweden, and they were on a different level, and you're looking at them and they're zipping the ball around and you're just chasing shadows. But I didn't see that here. I expected Svindale to be in for a tough night, and to be honest, I expected the tie to be over, so I was kind of shit myself and I went in 2-1. But you know what? I'll be honest, both games didn't do an awful lot for me, and the league game definitely didn't do an awful lot for me. Pats need to go over there with something though, with a win, I think. Go over with a draw, like I said, no away goals. That's a bit of a letdown with that. So you want to go over there and you want to win, or you want to go over there with a win in your back pocket or with a positive result. And if we can do that, I think we might be in with a show here. And I was looking, bookies had us favourites as well, which is for the home team, which is a little bit mad. I'm not surprised after watching them play the last 3 games. They look like they're in a bit of a transition, trying to find players and stuff to fit in with the players that they lost. And in fairness, we've had a month to look at them. Really, we've had a month to, I know they've obviously been in pre-season and stuff, but we've had a month to look at them and assess the squad and try and find out what beer gardens and stuff like that is over in Moscow.
Any piatas?
It's no, there's not, but we'll make one. What hasn't been it's been positive, I think, for Pats. The toy looked like a bit of a growl when it was first made, and you were like, this is a really tough one. But going off what I've been seeing the last 3 weeks, and in fairness, I think Pats are improving week on week too. So I'd like to think we can go over there with a 1-0 job, and try and maybe hold on with their life a little bit over there, but just go over there with a positive result. I think Richmond is going to be only half full. It's mad. We would have called this a sellout 3 or 4 years ago, and we would have been delighted with the crowd saying the Richmond atmosphere is going to be brilliant. But we're used to 3,500, 4,000 at our games now. Now this is only 2,500, and it probably will feel empty, which is strange. But it's a game I'm really looking forward to. Europe. You think back of all the European days that Pats have had. I think Pats have had a fair few decent results in Europe, going back a few years with the Mark Quigley one, and against Augsburg, probably the best night in Richmond ever. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna go for a 1-0 up, but that's before 3 weeks ago. I probably would have said I'll take a 1-0 loss. But considering what I'm saying and how they're playing and how well we're progressing with the players as well that we brought in, I think we can definitely give them a good show here and get over there with a positive.
Yeah, Luke, I mean, that's a fair point. In the last number of weeks, I think personally that Pats have played a lot better. Yeah, the result didn't go their way against Dundalk, but you can see the performances have been a bit more consistent, certainly the performances. So you got to, from their point of view, they got to have some hope going into this game. And after looking, as Keano says there in the last few weeks, maybe more aren't quite as good as we thought originally when the draw was made.
Yeah, I actually watched them against Spurs last season as an Arsenal fan, hoping Spurs would lose, and we actually bet them, which was mental. But to be honest with you, look, it's a bit of an unknown for Pats as well, because there's a lot of players in the Pats squad who are playing Europe for the first time. You know what I mean? And a manager who's managing in Europe for the first time. In Tim, you know what I mean? He's never done it before, so it's going to be an experience for them. You know what I mean? And they'll want to make a good account of themselves. I actually do fancy Pats in this game to maybe get a 1-0, but it's going to be tough because I think Mura might come and they might set up really well and defend, and Pats have got obviously the attack to break them down, of course, that we've seen this season with Mark Doyle and Owen Doyle and Billy King and all them players. So Pats are capable of breaking them down. It's just you got to hope they do, you know what I mean? And if they hit them early, I think they could get one or two more. So it's a really weird one, to be honest. I don't know. I do think Pats might win this one. It's a bit of an unknown though, really. I know Keano said that he's watched them play a few times in the last few weeks, so you don't know a bit more than I do. But it is a bit of an unknown. Bucky's favourites, you know what I mean? Going into this one as well. You don't read into that too much. I'm sure Tim isn't reading into that too much. But at the same time, they'll go into it with a bit of confidence. They had a good performance against Dundalk. They had a good win against Drogheda the week before that as well. So, their confidence is behind Pats, and they'll probably be confident themselves. And obviously bringing in the likes of Barry Cotter there this morning as well is a good signing, you know what I mean? So I think that might, if he's eligible to play, I presume he is, then, I'm sure he'll be slotting in there straight away, especially him coming in alone. He's expecting game time. So this sort of game, I'm sure they'll be looking to him to play right back. So, going into this one, it's an exciting one for Pats. It should be a good European night for them, hopefully, and hopefully they get a win.
Yeah, I'm going to go for it. Why not? 1-0 Pats. On Friday, Dundalk take on Finn Harps, and obviously Dundalk are 6 points out of Pats. Obviously, that draw against Pats is a very good result. It's a difficult one for Harps because obviously now they're joint bottom of the league with UCD after the way they lost to Derry there the other day. They'll be very disappointed with that, and they look like they're in trouble. Keano, it's very difficult to see Dundalk not winning this game. They're very tight and mean defensively. They don't give away easy chances, this Dundalk side, don't they not?
No, they haven't been. They haven't been recently in any way. I think they'd be similar to Pats last week. I think they'd be just as disappointed they didn't win it, and especially with Daniel Kelly's chance right at the end. When that could have been it, and they got 3 points. But it's never as straightforward as it looks. Obviously, Steve will be there on the sideline. Obviously Padge won't be there in the sideline, but that's definitely gonna play to it. That's definitely gonna affect it. Behind closed doors, you could have got away with it a little bit because all they had to do was stand on the stand or just do what they own, just a little bit further away. But now I think it's a little bit of a. I think that can definitely play against them a little bit because Stevie wasn't there. It's always Padge, but the two of them went. So I do. I think it's massive, and I think back on I think back of when managers are gone, like even the cup final, for example, Bowes. I think Keith Long, they're massive losses, and it all adds up. And look, I think this year Joey O'Brien was on the line for Shells, and they got 3 positive results. So it can swing both ways. Look, I'm not saying it's always a negative, but I think it's definitely going to be a tough one, because the game with, let's say, for example, with going into half time, for example, 0-0 or something like that, and you had Stevie in there, and he's, I don't know, kicking a water bottle or getting them going or pressing the right buttons, and because that's what he does, and he's good at that. He's brilliant at that. I think that could be a massive thing for them. But in terms of the players and on the game, they should probably win this comfortably enough. I think they're half hitting form, they're half getting into a run, and then they're nearly, let's say, where Stevie would want them to be. I don't think they're a million miles off. Similar to Pats last year, I think we were close to where we wanted to be, but we still felt we were just a small bit off. And I think Dundalk are like that now. I think it'll take within another 2 years. I think they'll be up there and they'll be properly competing. And I'm not gonna say I look forward to that, but I think the league as a whole, I look forward to it, and I think it'd be, you can sense something is building, and they'd be going out to get these 3 points, and they want to take second back, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, look, I mean, Finn Harps will really want to put down a performance here after last week, especially when the video airing of Ollie Horgan. And by the way, that's stuff that happens in every dressing room every week. It's just the fact it was caught on video and he was given out to the players.
Yeah.
Well, it just adds to it for Finn Harps. It's stuff they don't need. You know what I mean? It's more stuff they don't need. They could really go with doing, or go out and get a result here. They could do with it big, because defensively they haven't been great this season either. I know Dundalk, to be fair, sometimes have problems breaking down teams, but when they do, they often get a second and a third. They did that against ECD a few weeks ago as well.
Yeah.
So from Finn Harp's point of view, they could really do it. Out of all the weeks, get a result here,
Yeah, it'd be some result if they went to Oriel and got something from the game, because they don't really look like they will, though, because the performances are just not good enough. And it's pretty plain and simple. They just haven't been good enough. And they obviously, against Derry last on Sunday there, they had that chance, they scored. They were happy where they were up until the 80th minute, when the goal, I seen the goal, and it's just avoidable. You know what I mean? It's a long ball in behind the defence. I think Boyle has to do better, and I actually think the keeper has to do a bit better. And it just rolls into the net. Then the second goal, ball to the back post. The defender has to be doing better, I think. Akintunde, I don't even think Akintunde is the tallest either. But he rises above him anyways and gets the header in. You know what I mean? But they're going to be disappointed. And then obviously the video comes out, which is just unnecessary. There's no need for that video to come out. To be honest, because as you said, Keith, it does happen in dressing rooms every week. You know what I mean? And it's just because it's out now, everyone seeing it and that. And even his interview with at the Ollie Horgan's interview as well after the game probably wasn't great either. He called out a few players as well. So look, it's not great at the minute, but if they get a result here, it really changes the momentum for them. You know what I mean? They'll get confidence, but it's Dundalk. They haven't had a win in 2 games now. You know what I mean? They're going to want to change that, and I actually think they will as well. And I think it'll be comfortable enough for them. Maybe the whole thing of O'Donnell and Craig not being there, will it play a factor? Who knows? But you'll find out on the weekend. So I think it's going to be a 3-0 Dundalk win.
I think 2-0. It might take a while to break them down. What do you think, Eno?
Yeah, in and around that myself, yeah. I'd go in and around 2 or 3.
We've got the UCD and Shelbourne Friday as well. And obviously UCD had a very positive result last week. I know we've criticised Sligo a bit, but we've also given UCD credit. Massive win for them, with the players they've lost recently as well. Not just the obvious 2, but Eric Yoro leaving as well. I mean, there's Harps now at Keane on the table, and you'd have to say all the pressure's on Harps there, really, isn't it? And UCD, Shelbourne, they feel they can get a result there. They haven't been easy to beat at home this season at all, have they, UCD?
No, but you look at Shells, and they've kind of gone unnoticed as well in recent weeks for some reason. They it's, I don't know what it is, but it's around this time of the year, all eyes are on Europe, and nobody's really looking at these two games. Let's be honest. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful, but this is an opportunity for Shells to creep up the table and get themselves back in where they want to be, because I know that they want to be higher, and it's an opportunity because Pats are going to have one eye on Europe, hopefully for more than two games, and you obviously you had Derry in it, and all teams have been in it and playing the last couple of weeks, so it's an opportunity to pick up points, but yeah, they should be beating UCD. There's no doubt about it. I don't think it's going to be as easy, but with the squad the Shells have, they have been hit and miss. Some games they've been really good, other games they've been really poor. But that goes for, I think, probably, I don't know what, 9 teams in the league. So but that's the truth, and I think Shells can go and win this game. I don't think it'll be pretty. They always seem to score. When they do score, they score at the right moments in games, I've noticed, and when they're ahead and when they're creating chances, they do tend to get one. I'm not overall happy with Shells this year. I don't think they're. I don't think, let's say, they're playing as free flowing as they'd want to be playing, especially with the players that they have now. Look, I think they're Akivas are just staying in the division, and they've done that. And now next year, I think we'll see a different Shells and probably a few different players coming in. They're getting an awful lot of business done early as well. So, in terms of signing players on a multi-year contracts, and it's great to see. But, they'd be wanting to come here. They want to be getting 3 points. And, that's what I said. It gives them an opportunity with, Pat's not playing and Rovers and stuff. I'm not saying they're going to be competing with Pats or Rovers, but it gives them a chance to creep up the table and get ahead of them. So, I'm going to go for a Shells win here. I'm going to go for probably what we go for. I'll say a 1-0, but it's not going to be easy. And UCD now have been handed a lifeline, I think, and they feel like they're right in the relegation fight here. And at this minute in time, look, I know they've lost players, but they'd be confident. They're going to be going into that, and they've nothing to lose. So it's a tough one. But I'm going to go for Shells.
Yeah, look, I think start of the season, I kept saying it's hard to see where Shelbourne's goals are coming from. But I do think it's season on to improve that. Hikiki's come into the side, and he's done well. He's only 17, really, really good player.
Yeah.
Jack Moylan, can be hit and miss, but I think he's improved his consistency recently as well. With Shane Farrell there at the moment as well. And the goals are coming from other sources now, not necessarily, say, the strikers, where we kind of looked at them and went, have they enough goals in that team? But they are starting to come, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And you even look at the young lads that are coming through. You mentioned Akiki and obviously Gavin Malloy, they both signed new deals as well with the club, and they're getting goals as well, which is, especially for your man Hakiki. He's only 17 and he's coming in, he's scoring goals. Your man Malloy scored a great goal as well against Harps the week before. I know they didn't have a game last week, but I actually think it's an opportunity for UCD at the same time, because obviously, the pressure's on Finn Harps. UCD are going into this one, they'll be confident, they'll have had a good week of training, especially after, that win. They'll be, full of confidence in that. But at the same time, the Shells have been decent as well in the last, obviously, they had a few bad results, but, they keep going on these sort of runs. So maybe this is the start of, I know they got a win against Finn Harps, so it might be the start of another sort of run for them. And, it's probably a game they'll be confident in themselves. We did talk early on during the season saying where the goal's going to come from, and the likes of Sean Boyd has even stepped up and he's taken his game to another level. Jack Moylan as well. I think Jack Moylan, the thing about Jack Moylan is he's a very good player, very skillful, but I think when it comes to in front of goal, he can be, not very clinical, but, he has improved as the season's gone on. He signed a new deal with the club as well. So, if someone's going to come in for him, then they're going to have to pay money for him. So, Shells are going to be very pleased with the business they've done early on in the summer as well. I think they signed the new lad from Norwich there yesterday as well. Yeah. So I'll be interested to see him. Winger, I think he is. So I'll be interested to see what he's like. Look, they've sort of achieved what they wanted to do this season. Keno made a great point about teams in Europe. It's a good opportunity for them to, maybe get up the table a little bit, get right behind the Bohemians and teams above. So we'll see how that goes. But I do think that it will be a draw. I think it's going to be 1-0.
I'll go for Shelbourne to nick it 1-0. On Saturday, 2:00, Shamrock Rovers then take on Drogheda United. Obviously, Shamrock Rovers will be suffering a bit of a hangover. Be interesting to see what kind of selection they go for here at Keno, because they won't feel like the tie is over, if you know what I mean, in the second leg. I know they're down, but they can't have that mentality. So there's no doubt they will bring in some players against Drogheda. And, Drogheda, from their point of view, go into the game, like they're 13 points out of Finn Harps. They'd be delighted that Evan Weir signed the deal as well, because obviously Drogheda players in the past have only signed 1-year deals. So it's an interesting one, isn't it, at Tallaght Stadium?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll actually go to this one. It's a game that, I think Rovers obviously will have one eye in the next tie-in anyway. So, they're going to be playing in Europe for a number of games. And anyway, so look, whether they win or lose on Tuesday is irrelevant.
Yeah.
But I think Rovers will win it, to be honest. And I do. I think I can't see the gap. I can see the gap only getting bigger, not smaller, over the rest of the season. I think they'll win it. Probably won't be pretty. Probably be an average game. It'll probably be one of them games that, Drogheda probably won't really do much. Rovers won't really do much, and Rovers will probably come over with a 2-0. You know what I mean? That type of game. And I'd say that's the way the game we peter out. But, I think Drogheda, all the signs are good. I never expected them to be fighting Finn Harps or UCD down there. I expected them to be a little bit off where they were, last season, which I think they are. But I think Kev is doing a fantastic job there with the resources that he has. And I think if he can keep dropping 14 points, I can't see that gap getting smaller either. So, I still think they'll pick up points. I just think overall this season, I think the first half of the season, I think Drogheda would be disappointed with the home results more so than anything. I think, like the games, I think back at the games against Pats and, even the one there, the game against Pats, I think, what was it, 4-0 or something like that. And they didn't lay a glove on them. And I think that's that's something that probably it's been a little bit easier to play Drogheda away from home this year than there has been playing Drogheda at home in your own ground. But I genuinely think if they'll sort that out next season, I think they're building a squad there, but they're building a good squad of experienced players as well. So, you get the likelihood of you losing an experienced player to go and play for someone else at this stage in their career that Drogheda is very low. So I think that they're building a fantastic squad there that can stay there for a number of years. Look, you're going to get these young talents. They're going to come in for a season or two, and they're going to be gone like every other young lad in the country at teams. But they have a good base there. I think, obviously Deegan, he's not getting any younger either now, but you have Deegan, you have Massey, you have big players there. Marky, you'd be nearly a big player now at this stage. And, it's great. It's great to see Drogheda where they are and staying in the division. I think, they bring so much to the league. So I think it's great for them that they don't need to be looking over their shoulder, similar to last year. Again, and they can kind of enjoy the second half of the season, try and improve on the home form a little bit. And then, next season, try and get up the table just a little small bit again.
Will they enjoy their trip to Tallaght Stadium, Luke?
I don't know, but I think our home record's actually been very good. Like, apart from playing against Pats, like obviously Pats got a great 4-0, but we've beaten Shamrock Rovers at home, beaten Dundalk twice at home, results against Derry, Bows, you know what I mean? I'm very happy with the home form, and that's all down to the fans who are making it really. Obviously,
it looks good, yeah.
Like, obviously, it is a difficult place to come to, apart from if you're at St. Pat's. Obviously, they seem to really enjoy when they come to United Park. But to be fair, like, it's a tight pitch and the fans are getting right behind. What?
I think that was Keno's whole point.
Yeah, I think so. I was a bit confused about his home record. I was like, honestly, it's like I've been raving about our home record for the last 6 weeks.
I mean against Pat, sorry, just clear.
All right.
Jeez.
Right. No,
I'll be hounded out of it in the comments if we didn't say that.
yeah, no, he's a brilliant point. Like to be honest, I don't like when Pats come and play, and I can't remember we bet them last season, but once I think in United Park.
3-1 last year.
3-1, yeah, geez, that's when we were on that mad run. But to be honest with you, going into this one, look, it's about staying in the game against Rovers for as long as possible, and maybe you might get a break, but look, it's going to be a tough game, especially up in Tala, and they'll have that. Obviously, they've probably flown back in now, and they'll do a bit of recovery and all that, and whatever professional teams do. But to be honest with you, it's going to be a good game. Drogheda are going to be without Luke Heaney suspended. He's been brilliant at right back for Drogheda. It's going to be a big loss. You've got Darren Nugent as well, has been one of our better players as well this season, who's unavailable to play because he's on loan from Shamrock Rovers, which is it's still a bit annoying that he can't play, but that's the way the loan rules work and all. But we're seeing there's a busload of Drogheda fans going down, so hopefully they can make it a good atmosphere and stay in the game as long as possible. And you never really know then, but I do expect Rovers to play the likes of Jack Byrne and Graham Burke, who didn't play last night as well, which is frightening, because I was talking to some Drogheda fans and they were saying, but Rovers be playing their B team, and I was like, but they don't have a B team. You know what I mean? They don't have a B team. It's ridiculous. Probably the only team in the league that don't have a B team. It's just as strong. So it's a tough opposition regardless. So I don't think we'll get anything from the game, but I hope. You never know.
I'll go 2-1 Rovers. Keena?
I don't think it'll be a disgrace or anything like it.
No, me neither.
I think it'll be one of them, like I said earlier on, it'll be just one of them games where, Drogheda will probably do really well, but they'll probably come out of it at 2-0 loss or something like that, but it'll be a good performance. I'm going to go 2-0. I can't see a great game happening here, to be honest. I'd say it'd be just one of them games gets get the 3 points and get out for Rovers, but yeah. I'm going to go for 2-0 Rovers.
Great stuff, lads. Thanks for coming on. Guys at home, subscribe, hit your bell notification button.